This video presents content from Chapter 3 of the book, Sustainable Living and World Peace, from a section entitled, Individual and Civic Virtue are Key to Maintaining a Republic and Human Liberties. These virtues are enriched by fully embracing the truths of human equality and freedom. There are absolute and inherent truths to the nature of humanity, which include the characteristic equality of all humanity and that people have an unalienable right to freedom. However, truths like these have proven not to always exist in the heart of our understanding, and it can require painful moments of realization before they will become self-evident. They are often not fully realized until hardship is encountered to bring the truths to the forefront of human consciousness. It is almost as if these truths are not understood and accepted until humanity faces hardships caused by the ignorant ways of their time and experiences the consequences of ignoring how contrary to the truth they had been living. Suffering and strife can bring out the best in people when importance is placed on being directed by virtue, as was the experience of the Founding Fathers. Otherwise, suffering and strife can bring out the worst in people when ignorance is allowed to prevail over natural human virtues. The first path leads to human growth and advancement. The other path leads to reversion in human detriment. Fear the day that we forget the truths that were learned from the hardships endured by people of the past. However, we must always believe that truth will eventually overcome ignorance over time through continued advancement of our individual and collective understanding and prevailing virtue. When the United States was being formed, the Founding Fathers had the opportunity to reflect on the troubles of the Old World countries and how some of these problems could be avoided in the New World. They were also influenced by ideas from the Age of Enlightenment too. They were able to create a wholly new foundation for a new country, which was being composed of different groups of people from the Old World. In the Old World, old prejudices existed among varying groups of people, and some of these prejudices and intolerances came with the immigrants to the New World. Each group may have had different religions, cultures, and customs that were viewed as odd, improper, or disturbing by other groups. Now that these people were all being situated in a new country with people from other groups from the Old World, it was obvious that all the people needed to get along in this new country in order for it to survive and thrive. When the country was created and the United States founding documents were being drafted, the Founding Fathers spelled out such rights as freedom of assembly, religion, and speech, etc. The Founding Fathers considered there were to be unalienable human rights endowed by the Creator, which included life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This would imply that humans should not interfere with other people who are trying to exercise their basic God-given rights and live out their own lives according to their own beliefs as they so choose, because these rights could actually be considered as sacred. These rights and freedoms were viewed as a natural condition for human beings as part of the divine plan for humanity. A sense of respecting individualism and valuing the importance of individuals to be able to live as they choose had emerged in America, and the Founding Fathers were documenting a system of freedom and respect where all people, with all their diversity, could safely and peacefully coexist together in the new country. This would encourage the country's feeling of unity as one people and benefit society by inspiring a peaceful existence among all people. There would be no reason to expect violence or war in America with our acknowledgement and guarantee of freedoms, as long as everyone respected other people's unalienable rights. Colonial Americans felt the pain of discrimination and unequal treatment in their civil lives, religious practices, and personal beliefs and affiliations, both under British rule and in the Old World countries from which they emigrated. People and nations can realize great things out of trouble and hardship, and often it appears that the answer to these former troubles, once solved with a complete solution, is obvious in retrospect. Such was the plight of the early Americans and the unequal treatment they received. From their own unequal treatment came the realization of the self-evident truth of all people being equal and the importance of equal treatment. It was not until the acknowledgement that all people are truly created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights, with the realization stemming from the hardships suffered by the early Americans, that actual change occurred. We can regulate and legislate all we want in order to try to make people treat each other as free and equal creatures of God. But until we all realize it and want it to be part of our reality, there will only be futile attempts at changing behavior. A major impediment to the full realization of the principles of equality and freedom, however, was that this self-evident truth seemed to get hung up and stop short of complete attainment because of deeply entrenched prejudices and self-serving economic worries, such as worries over ending the plantation economy and that freed slaves would compete for land and jobs with white people, which allowed slavery to persist in the United States. The United States had to endure the extreme horrors of the Civil War because our ignorance persisted so strongly. Progress to overcome the prejudices and self-serving economic concerns occurred slowly, but has happened with continuous re-examination, reconfirmation, and reaffirmation of our most treasured values. Even the United States, which was and is supposed to be based on equality and freedom, has had to evolve and continues to evolve in its understanding and fulfillment of the great words and values in its founding documents. It has not always been easy maintaining freedom and peace among our diverse population, with some people in the country always seeming to be set toward intolerance or being directed by ignorance. Problems resulting from ignorance definitely still persist with us today. However, the acknowledgement and understanding of human freedom has prevailed over time, and the founding values are strong enough to unite the people and maintain peace. Once the truth is so plainly stated and the people have had a chance to understand its wisdom, it is just a matter of time for this to become the principal awareness of the people. Our appreciation of equality developed slowly over time. The situation of a melting pot of diverse groups together in the United States forced the understanding to occur. This definitely did not happen quickly. There is still self-examination we need to do today in this regard. There have been plenty of other wise and smart people in the past who did things that ignorant persons would do. Many people who we would consider highly intelligent were actually racist or prejudiced. Even Thomas Jefferson, who emphasized freedom and equality in the Declaration of Independence and spoke out against slavery, owned numerous slaves himself, right up until the end of his life. There had to be a realization first about the nature of humanity and an understanding of our unity and everything that binds all humans together. This came partially from empathizing with other people as fellow human beings and having compassion for their plight. This also came from the belief that all of humanity, the unity of humanity, and the dignity of human life have an origin in a divine plan. Humans can live more in accordance with this plan for humanity if we cut through the ignorance that has divided people. We should focus on living together with mutual respect of the rights of all people. The awareness and realization of human equality and freedom create a transcending civic virtue in the individual person, empowering each of us to better himself or herself while living for the betterment of others. This is the ignorance-defeating foundation of truth desired in our country and is a key to sustainability throughout the world. This empowering civic virtue, originating at the level of the individual, then resonates throughout society, allowing us to live together peacefully and prosperously. Just to reiterate, so as to emphasize its importance for us, the self-evident understanding that all people are created equal and the unalienable rights that people have are based on universal and divine truths. This then implies that if we do not view other people as equal with unalienable rights as they are seen through the eyes of God, then we are incorrectly viewing these people and treating them in a way that is unnatural to their divine intent. There are many reasons the United States has had great success. A significant reason includes sustained peace within the country where people believe in human freedom while respecting and embracing the diversity that makes up the country.